introduction of what DesignSafe is, what it's being used for, what the goals are with the project, and then show you some of the ways of bringing your data from your laptop or from your cloud provider into DesignSafe for you to do your analysis and your research. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mute my machine while I'm at it. Notifications. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. Okay, so what exactly is DesignSafe? So DesignSafe, and we've talked about this before in other webinars, but DesignSafe is a cyber infrastructure. It's a cloud environment where we want it to be an integral part of your research. We want it to be where you come to do your end-to-end cycles, from your conception to your analysis and your collaboration to your publication, and from your publication, publishing your data set to collaborate with other people so then they can take that data and start the cycle again. One of the big goals of DesignSafe is we don't want to pigeonhole you. We don't want to put you in a tight data structure that you must conform to. One of the goals of DesignSafe is to make sure that we are open enough to allow for any type of data structure that you use in your research. So for that, we created this thing called the Data Depot, which is basically a big file manager that allows you to access your data in whatever means you need, curate your data, and then publish your data. All right, so what are we doing? We are supporting the Natural Hazards Society, or that Natural Hazards community, and we want you guys to basically come here to do your research work, to do your analysis, to do your visualization, to do your software development, to do your applications and your scripts, and a one-place stop to support that entire system. And how do we do this? So we do this through simulation research and experimental research that is actually coming up with data. And the rapid research. We want to be able to bring that research, that data, into the Data Depot. From there, you'd be able to do your data analysis and your visualization, then be able to take that data back to the Data Depot, share that out with the community again, and then bring new ideas into it. And then, of course, finally be able to curate and publish that data. Okay, so first things first, the deal is we want to build a community. So to do this, we actually have a Slack team available. It's at DesignSafe-CI.slack.com. We do really highly recommend that you should be given an invite when you signed on for DesignSafe, but we do recommend that you join that Slack team. There's lots of topics of discussion there. You can talk with the developers directly. You can get help very quickly. And if you have a quick question, the rest of the community can answer it. And if you see a question being asked that you know the answer to, feel free to jump in with the answer. We want the community to support DesignSafe, and then this becomes, essentially part of your world. You can create a channel on any type of discussion. There is, I'm sorry, that's the type of, there is a channel for this webinar in particular, which is webinar _ so that should be data transfer, not data curation, but data transfer, and you'd be able to speak with us after this webinar is over. Slack is really more than just a communication tool. We use it everywhere in our organization ourselves. We use it for the training and the education purposes, asking questions about Jupyter. But it's also a nice personal assistant tool, so you can do reminding messages. You can star messages for follow-ups. You can star messages for as bookmarks, and you can do wide searches, animated GIFs. And like I said, after this presentation is over, we can continue the conversation on Slack once the Zoom session ends. It's DesignSafe-CI.slack.com. All right, so first things first, we need to know where to get started and where to get help. So if you're new to the DesignSafe environment or you have any questions, the best place to go is to the help screen. In fact, that is essentially where we're going to go to start off this particular webinar. First thing we're going to do is, for this webinar in particular, which is the data transfer methods, we actually have, under help, we have in our user guides, That's being a little slow right now. We have a data transfer guide and then a Globus data transfer guide. So we'll go ahead and go into the data transfer guide just to see what's in there and what methods we have available to you. And then we'll go through and do some hands-on or do little demos on each one of them. Okay, so first off, what we have is let me talk about a little bit about where the guide is. So where the guide talks about bulk transfer methods, the drag and drop, integrating with Box.com, integrating with Dropbox. What's not listed here is we now also integrate with Google Drive, and we just pushed that out today, so it should be up and running. If not, it'll be up and running by next week without a problem. So you can go through here. We'll tell you all about how the command line works, how Globus works, how to set some of these things up. I know that the data transfer guides or guides in particular, user guides can be a little dull, which is why we have this webinar to talk about how to get these, what some of these terminology actually means, especially how to set up Globus and what Globus is. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the data depot. This is essentially where your data is going to go, so we might as well understand what that's for. So this is a place to hold your data. All right, this is a location where the data can be curated, data can be shared. This is where you would upload and download your data to and from. And it's a multi-purpose data repository. So it's not just holding on to data. You can also upload images. You can also upload scripts. You can upload Python code. Anything that you need essentially to do your research work. And these are a little bit about how to get your data in. So we talked about the data depot, and we can also upload. DesignSafe gives you access to the Jupyter development environment. You can use Jupyter to upload your files as well. Box.com, Dropbox, and now Google Drive as well. Globus, exactly what Globus is, how do we connect to it, and then of course also the command line interface. All right, so first things first, let's talk about uploading through the portal. Now, when we're going to upload things directly, your data directly into the DesignSafe portal, we are talking about a small number of files, approximately 25 files, where each file is less than 100 megabytes. All right, and it's because of the way the system is set up. We'll go here. We're going to click on the data depot. So the data depot is set up into multiple spaces. You have your My Data. This is your space. This is where your data lives. Anything you want to share, anything you want to work on sits inside that My Data. That is your personal directory. There's also My Projects. My Projects are collaborative spaces where you create a project, and you invite others to collaborate with you. There's also, projects are kind of formal. So this is where you do some formal collaboration. Sometimes though, you just want to have another set of eyes to look at a file, another set of eyes to look at some data, another set of eyes to do some analysis. This is where the shared with me files come from. These are just individuals who've shared their files with me and want me to take a look at what their projects are. If you notice, some of these are actual projects from our classrooms. Then we have Box.com. Which connects to your cloud provider, Dropbox.com, and you'll notice that these are already connected on my side. Google Drive, which I haven't connected yet, so we'll go through there and see if we can get that connected for us. We have published data. So published data is data that has been curated and has been published for other people to use. So if we can go in here, we'll see, let me pull one of these up. You'll see that published data has a PI, and it has a DOI. All right, so the DOI is essentially used to cite your data, just like you would cite other people's work, other people's articles. You can now also cite the data set that you used. So this is where you'd get that citation for the data set. So it gives you that citation directly, and you can just copy and paste that into your article. And then the last one is community data. Now, community data is a little different. This is data that is shared within the community for the community. It is very informal. It is usually set up as, hey, we have found something really interesting here, or I've written some really interesting code or really interesting Jupyter notebook that somebody else in our community might be interested in. So I would publish it to the community here. If you wish to contribute to the community data, there's a README file. It basically says, get in touch with one of us and we'll move the data in for you. Okay, so now, of course, that's the big question we just came for. How do we move our data in? Going through the portal directly, we have the Add button. All right, so we'll go through the slides here. We have our Add button. The Add button, you can now create a new folder or a new project. You can also upload a file, upload a folder, or do a bulk data transfer using Globus. This is what we recommend. All right, so we can click File Upload. It comes up with our little screen. We go ahead and choose the files we wish to upload. So I have some data sets here. I have a data set here, a couple files, Python program perhaps, and I thought I had a data set here as well. Yes, in my data set. So I can take those files and I can go ahead and click Open. And what this does, anytime you're interacting with this portal, behind the portal we have our attack resources. You know, we have a number of resources here at attack, everything from storage devices to a big giant supercomputer cluster, okay? So what happens here is when we first say, all right, these have been staged and I'm about to begin my upload, it starts a job in the background. So this job will get queued up. And sitting in the queue, we'll say, all right, we're gonna start uploading these files. As these files begin uploading, and they get queued up, we will then start getting notifications as soon as the upload is complete. I'm actually going to go ahead and move through here. So while this is going on, actually, if you notice now, we said the file upload has been successful, and we should be able to see our files in. Okay, moving on. So that's here my data. And once again, this is for small data sets. We're talking, you know, about 25 files or so, approximately 100 megabytes or less. Anything more, and you'll have some performance issues, which is why we have other settings set up. All right, the next thing we have is our cloud providers. We have Box.com, Dropbox, and Google Drive. All right. My Box.com and my Dropbox.com are already set up, but I'll show you how to go and manage those. If you go into your dashboard, which is usually your landing page when you first log in, you'll see that there is a Manage Accounts. Now, under Manage Account, you will find a thing called third-party applications. Now, under the third-party applications, you'll see Box.com, you're managed for Box.com, and a management for your Google Drive. I'm going to go and catch up our slides here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what the manage.manage app settings look like. So this is already connected, and I can disconnect it. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my Box.com for now, and then we'll reconnect it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect Box.com. Something to notice or something to realize, we don't do active syncing on DesignSafe. So when you set up your Box.com account or you set up your Dropbox or your Google Drive, it doesn't actually sync between your Box and your DesignSafe storage. You actually have to copy your files out of Box or Dropbox or Google Drive and put them into DesignSafe. They won't automatically sync up. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Authorize it. Now you're going to have to grant Box. You're going to have to grant access to Box from DesignSafe. DesignSafe will need access to create files, upload files, move files, copy files, and delete files. But DesignSafe doesn't do any of that. You will be doing that through the DesignSafe interface. So I'm going to grant access. And now my Box.com is functional. I can go to my data depot. I can click on Box, and it has access to my DesignSafe folders on Box.com. And like I said, anytime I want to move or copy files, I can just select the files I require and copy those over. So you can select multiple files the same way you do on your local machine. Is use the Shift key. Or if you have separate files, you can hit the Command button or your Control button to select and deselect files, and then you could copy those out. Once again, you can't move them out. We won't actually ever move files out of your box.com account. We will just allow you to copy them. That way they're always going to be there and they won't get deleted. Same thing with Dropbox and same thing with Google Drive. Google Drive just came on recently. Actually, I believe today is the first instance of it running. So I'm going to see if we can get that set up really quick since I need to do that as well. So log in with your Google account. And my password. That hasn't been verified yet. All right, we'll go there anyways. And I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to allow DesignSafe access to my Google Drive. So I'm going to click Allow. And now my Google Drive is connected to my Dropbox as well. So we'll go here just to verify that. We'll go Data Depot. And we'll go to my Google Drive. I have a lot of files in my Google Drive, so it'll take a while for it to index that. And there we go. There's all my my Google Drive accounts. Okay, the other thing we offer is also being able to upload through Jupyter directly. And the reason, so Jupyter gives you an interface to be able to upload data, and the reason we didn't disconnect that or disallow that is because sometimes you're in the middle of doing your development or research work and you realize you need a data set. You'll actually have to load that data directly and not want to come back through the DesignSafe interface. So to do that, we can go into Jupyter. There's a couple ways to go to Jupyter. You can go through the research workbench and through the workspace, or you can go to Jupyter directly. If you've never actually used Jupyter before, it is suggested you go through the DesignSafe route, and then after that, you can go to the URL directly. But we'll go here really quick. Now, by the way, those of you who do actually use the Discovery workspace to do some of your scripting, some of your to do your scripts or do your analysis using some of the existing applications we have, like OpenSeas or AdCirc, you can select your My Data, and you can go to you can select your My Data, copying your information out of your cloud provider into your My Data and be able to go through that way. Or you can go through the published data. Remember, I mentioned the published data earlier is public data sets that are available that you might want to do some analysis work on yourself, and you can go through the published data as well. All right, so back to Jupyter. So Jupyter is right here. So you click on Jupyter, and then you click on Launch. You can also go to the URL directly, which is jupyter.designsafe-ci.org, and go ahead and log in. And go to my server. Now, Jupyter has access to the community data. It has access to your My Data, projects, and public. This is just a landing page. Anything you actually store in this part of Jupyter is not going to remain. It's actually going to, it's not permanent. It won't persist. So you actually have to click into My Data. Now, once you're in My Data, if you want to upload data directly through Jupyter, you can just click on the Upload button at the top, find the files you wish to upload, click Open, and say, oh, it's greater than 25. That file is bigger than 25 meg. So one of the things I was going to say is there are restrictions that Jupyter has put into place. One of those restrictions is 25 megabyte files. The files have to be less than 25 meg. If it's greater than 25 meg, well, then you can use, you can go through the cloud provider, or you can go through the Data Depot. All right. The next thing that we want to show is, this is a big one. This is Globus. So what is Globus? Globus is a cloud-based service that allows for reliably moving data across machines. A large number of the scientific resources and supercomputing resources that we use are actually on Globus. So the first thing I'd like to do is, there's a lot, not a lot, there's quite a bit involved to get Globus up and running. All right, so we're going to go to the user guide here, and we'll talk about all the little bits of what exactly Globus is saying, or how exactly we set this up. All right, so we do have a Globus transfer data guide. The first thing you need to do is we can go to globus.com. At least this is what I did, and this worked very well. Is we can go to globus.com or globus.org. I'm so sorry, globus.org. And the first thing it's going to want to do is, it took me directly to the transfer page. So our landing page, there's a login button. So if you click on login, it will give you a bunch of different organizations that are available for you to use. You can actually type to see if your organization's on there. There's University of Texas at Austin. If your organization is not there, you can actually, it does let you validate through Google or sign in through Google directly. The only thing that needs to be done after that, so I'm going to go ahead and log in through my University of Texas account. And I'm going to say continue. Log in here. And this will bring me to the manage data, to the landing page for me, because I've already gone through all the steps of getting my Globus account linked to my TAC account. Okay, for you to do this, what we'll need to do is, first off, we need to submit a ticket to DesignSafe. All right, it's very simple to submit a ticket. If you go here to help, submit ticket, it will bring you to this form where you fill out and say, basically all you need to say is, oh, I need to create a ticket. Who it's from, and what the subject is going to be is Globus access. This is for the data depot. And then describe that I need access to my Globus account to access my data. All right, and when you do fill out this ticket, you'll get this nice reply from one of the TAC staff. In this case, it was Tim Cockrell, one of our directors here. And it will tell me that, hey, your setup's been complete. You now have access to your My Data. Now, if you need access to any of the projects, you will actually have to request those separately, at least for the time being. Soon that won't be a problem. Soon it'll be automated that as soon as you get your Globus account, they'll give you access to all of your project accounts as well. Okay, so back to creating our DesignSafe ticket, our Globus account, and linking those up. The other thing we need to do is, so there's a couple different stages. The first thing is you need to get this thing called a distinguished name, or as Globus calls it, a certificate subject. So to do that, you go to cilogin.org. All right, you'll notice that's part of Global, cilogon.org. You select your provider. In my case, it was University of Texas. It might be Google, whoever you decide to use. Let's do Texas, not A&M. Texas, where is University of Texas at? All right. Just search for it, Texas. And University of Texas at Austin. So I'm going to go ahead and click log on. Now it's going to say, all right, here's all your login information. Go ahead and type in your password for the certificate. I'm going to give it my password. Oh, I believe it's custom information. It needs to be like 12 characters or something. And let's click on Get New Certificate. And you can download this, and then you can use that. But what we're really after is the certificate subject right here. Okay? So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and copy and paste that. So I'm going to click Copy. Now, the next stage that we have to do is we need to go to the TAC user portal. So if you go to, if you got your, I believe it's off of TAC's website, TAC tech.edu, texas.edu. And you can go ahead and click on the TAC user portal here. So this is TAC's landing page. Click on the TAC user portal. Click on log on with your TAC account. Now, the TAC account is your DesignSafe account. It's basically what you signed in for. You're going to go and click login. Now, under this login, there is a manage your profile. And from manage your profile, there's this link called manage DNs. What your DN is your distinguished name or that certificate subject. We're going to click that. We're going to go ahead and add that in. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that. And then I'm going to click associate DN. Now I've already done this once. I'm not going to go ahead and do this again because here's mine right up here. But as soon as you click associate DN, what happens is it is now going to go ahead to Globus and link in all of your TAC resources that you have access to, which part of it is DesignSafe, and it's going to go ahead and link that to Globus. Now it's going to take, you're going to want to give it about 30 minutes to about an hour for it to propagate through, but once it's over at Globus, it's going to be able to sign yourself in and get access to all of your TAC resources. That's step one. This is going to allow you access to your TAC account in your distinguished names. Now, the next thing is where exactly are your files for DesignSafe, and how do we connect up your local laptop or your local computer to Globus? Okay, first things first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to manage our, we're going to manage our endpoint. So the big thing we can do first is I'm going to go ahead and click Endpoint and click Administered by Me. And you'll see that, all right, once you have instances such as Globus Connect Personal for your computer. So if you go to Globus Connect Personal, it's going to come down here. It's going to say, all right, what would you like it to be displayed as? And I'm going to say it's going to be my TAC Charlie TAC laptop. All right, I'm going to go and generate my setup key, and I'm going to go and download and install that on my local machine, and that's going to connect up to Globus. Now the next thing is, so that's going to allow you to connect your laptop to Globus to be able to transfer large data sets into DesignSafe. Next is, where is DesignSafe sitting at in all of this? So DesignSafe, like I said, spans a lot of tax resources. One of the resources it connects to is our big data server, our big, essentially a big giant disk drive is what it is. It's called Corral. So I'm going to go and look for TAC. I'm going to go do a search for TAC. You'll see some of our resources here, and you're going to see this one called Corral 3. So I'm going to connect to it. I should probably put it on the other side, but it doesn't matter. Under here, this is where it gets a little bit, it's not quite as understanding as straightforward as it should be. But we have this two files here, directories. One's called REPL, stands for replicated, and the other one's called TAC. We're going to use replicated. And under replicated, we're going to use projects. Now projects, you'll see a directory called NHERI. That is DesignSafe. So we're going to click on NHERI. And NHERI, you'll see that there is a bunch of folders here, a bunch of files here. The one we are interested in, the one where your My Data is going to be linked to, is called Shared. And under Shared, you should be able to find your username. So I'm going to go and find me. And now this is my data in DesignSafe. So now if I had my machine connected up as another endpoint, my local laptop, I'd be able to transfer data from DesignSafe to my local machine, or more importantly, from my local machine to DesignSafe, or from any location that is that you can attach to Globus to DesignSafe and be able to do your data analysis work. And once again, this is great for transferring large files, files over 100 files, over 100 megabytes each. This is a nice, quick, easy way of getting that data into DesignSafe. All right, finally, we also have a command line utility available for your for access to DesignSafe. So you can actually log on with the Linux console and move your data in. Now, the big one there is we have two of them. We have SCP and we have rsync available, all right? And we have a little bit about it. For the time being, SCP and rsync only work with projects, not with your My Data, though that is coming soon. Now, to access your projects, you'll notice that just here it gives you a little bit of a quick example. If you notice, what we're looking for is we're looking for the file name, your local username, and the path to project directory. This is where things are a little weird, but let me explain what that means. So every project you have in DesignSafe has what we call a UID, has a unique identifier that is not the project name nor the project number. It's an identifier that gets created when the project first got created in DesignSafe. So if you go to your My Projects, I'll tell you exactly how to find that. So if you go to My Projects and you select one of the projects that you're on, you'll see that there is, it gives you some project information. Now what we're looking for is right here in the URL. So if you notice, we have projects, the folder, and then we have our UID. All right, so that is what we're looking for here. Also, when you do get your project set up in Globus, that is also what it's looking for under projects. So I'm going to go up a directory, and I believe I want to go up one more. And if I select projects, I'll have to search for, oops, I don't have my project set up yet, so I have to get that information in. But it will give you a list of all the projects that are available, and this is what you're going to be searching for to identify the project you're looking at. Same thing here. When you're going to be doing SCP or rsync, you're looking for that project ID. This is a project ID that you want to be able to copy into there to do your command line data transfers. Once again, if you're transferring large amounts of data, it is suggested to use Globus. If you're transferring smaller amounts of data, then your data depot, directly through the data depot, using Jupyter or using the command line are basically ideal for those scenarios. Box.com, Dropbox, Google Drive all work just fine. My suggestion there is to remember that it does not auto-sync. So I cannot set up a synced folder between DesignSafe and my local machine and think that I could just copy my files in there. They'll automatically permeate to DesignSafe. That's not true. I still have to manually copy those folders over. It's just a convenient way to move information from one location to another location and vice versa. All right, I was hoping to keep this really quick, and it looks like we did that just fine. If you wish to carry on the conversation, or if you have any questions, or you want to get in touch with me or any of the other TAC staff, we're always available. Hit us up on Slack. You can find us on #webinar. It's actually DesignSafe transfer. It's not transfer methods. General questions, go to general. There's also a question there, or a channel there for Jupyter, a channel there for all the different NHERI components and the different communities inside of NHERI. So feel free to join one of those and ask us more questions there. And once again, this is, we're trying to make DesignSafe a community. So it's not just the TAC guys or the developers answering questions. Feel free to answer the questions yourself and get in on the discussions. I mean, that's basically how the community is going to grow, and where we're going to basically get more people in there, and you guys can support it yourselves. All right. I think that's going to do it for me. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us. You can contact us at training@designsafe-ci.org. We'll leave this on, of course, for the next 15-20 minutes. If you guys have any questions, we can take those into the chat room. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I know it's kind of late in the semester, so it's kind of hard to get everything going. I do want to remind you that our next webinar is going to be here probably in about a couple weeks. We have another feature of DesignSafe. It is called the Recon Portal, and then we have some applications that support that. And the Recon Portal is essentially set up for people who are going out in the field to do reconnaissance work, needing a place to be able to upload their data and view their data. And so we do have the reconnaissance portal for that specific purpose, and that's going to be the subject of the next webinar. And we'll actually have one of the recon scientists give the webinar, how he used it, and what benefits he found from it. Okay. So if there's no other questions for me directly, I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic and then jump on the chat board if you guys have any questions. I really appreciate your all's time. Thank you very much.